Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I am well.
Yeah,
Excited about tonight.
I am particularly
I
excited.
know you're extremely excited
more
about
than you.
tonight. I know.
I'm giddy like a little girl.
So, because there's some nostalgia tonight.
A lot of nostalgia tonight.
Yes, I went with a nostalgic thing for me because when I was a teenager, this is what we used to drink in high school mixed with some Coke on our way to basketball games. George Dickel, Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey.
That's outside of
Superior number 12
that's
recipe.
around Winchester, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distilled and charcoal mellowed at George A. Dickel Company, Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Tullahoma.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
Man, I'm excited. You know what? I've never tried George Dickel.
have you not? We used to drink it in high school mixed with Coke or Sundrop.
Yep.
Let me know. I can't see your
Ah,
glass.
you're good, buddy.
On the way to the basketball games.
Okay. So I am very excited about our guest tonight because, for me, being a young fella growing up in the deeply Christian South,
Yes.
this is one of my first forays into music that wasn't Carmen or Petra or
Right.
some other bullshit, and we'll get into that a little bit. But we have tonight. It's Reese Roper of the legendary band Five Iron Frenzy.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Oh, hello.
You don't have to say it. It's fine.
I didn't know if you were just like, he's coming in a little bit.
No.
No.
We're very organized here.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, but yeah, so they were a big deal to me back in the day, and they currently have a Kickstarter going on, and for a new record that they're dropping us. First one like 7 years, I think,
Yeah.
something like that, and like they're crushing it right now. I'm really hoping you guys get to that stretch goal because I really want that vinyl.
If I'm this far off the microphone, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is comfortable. I hurt my back earlier.
I understand.
Dude.
Old age is a bitch. So,
Yeah.
cheers.
Well, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to you,
Yep.
Reese. I appreciate it. I mean, do we need to call you Mr. Roper, Reese, just Roper, whatever?
Please don't. Unless there is a Three's Company remake happening, and then please.
That would be fantastic. So, I was super excited. Mike Herrera's podcast popped up, and I, turned that on to listen to your interview. And then as he was going through it, I was just like, well, fuck, that was like half of what I was going to talk about. And so, obviously to Mike Herrera, he's a little cooler than we are, but I was still, a little bitter and angry on the inside. I was like, screw that guy, taking all my questions.
Well, it's extra nostalgic because as teenagers, that was kind of our first, those two bands were kind of two of our first introductions into what good music could be. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I had, so like Upbeats and Beatdowns was like that video for what Flowery Song was like my first introduction to you guys, which is an amazing piece of 90s art.
Thank you.
And then I had the cassette of Poconacha back in the day.
Yeah.
So, it's a good time. So for me now, my son is a massive, I got tired of listening to like really shitty kids music all the time. And he kind of was in the mood. He liked the silly songs. So I played him a couple of y'all's more silly stuff. And then he was hooked. And now he constantly hate everybody he lives with his mom. And they all hate you guys now. So
Good.
yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. The funny songs are a gateway drug, especially
Yes.
the pants song.
Yeah.
The children love it, and then they just start into Five Iron, and
Yeah.
it's a downward spiral.
Yeah, that was him. So he'll pick like a record because he's on my Apple Music family account thing, and he'll pick a record and listen to it nonstop for like a week till everybody hates that record, and then he'll move on to the next record, and that's kind of has been his flow over the last few months.
How old is he?
10.
Sweet. I have a 10-year-old. Same thing. Like she just started listening to music, and I'm overwhelmed by this. I feel like I can mislead her, so I'm worried about that. But on the other hand, I'm really excited, because I can show her bands.
Yeah, that's kind of where he's at. So I showed him because I was like, oh, you like Five Iron Frenzy? You might really love the Aquabats. So I sent him that. And I posted our back and forth. And I was like, what do you think of that? He goes, meh. I was like, what do you mean, man? I was like, they're a great band. He was, and in all caps, he just replied, "They're no Five Iron Frenzy. They're terrible." And I was like, they're not
Oh my gosh.
terrible band.
What is wrong with your son?
I don't know. I don't know. He's my kid.
Has he seen the Aquabat Super Show?
He hasn't. That's my next on the list.
Yeah,
next
you
time I
got to
have him
do
here.
that because I think that's an easy way to break people on the Aquabats.
Yeah. Well, they're fantastic. So,
They are.
but yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I had some things we were gonna go through, but want to give you a chance to talk about whatever first. If I mean, you all of 50 people, you might get $50-$60 extra on your Kickstarter. But
This is nice.
I mean, it's been an impressive amount of cash you guys have managed
really.
to get support for in a very short period of time, which I was stoked to see.
Yeah,
But,
it's silly.
Yeah, because it's blown up
hate it.
fast. I bet. Do you feel like it puts a lot of pressure on you guys to make something awesome? But I mean, the Five Iron Friends are pretty unique folks anyway.
Well, they've all reached a point where they've got good paying jobs and they've got that kind of money to just let go of now.
Right. Like, for instance, I'm going to show you guys something.
Okay.
I needed melatonin, so I bought the gummies.
Yeah, my daughter takes that.
Yeah, well, like, I make this kind of money now. I can get the gummies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See, you should have put that in the Kickstarter description. Reese needs melatonin gummies, so please be generous with your money.
I feel so guilty because I'm already, like I have a decent job. We're all okay.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we lost something somewhere.
By paying for the Kickstarter thing, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, you're right. It makes you feel incredibly guilty because I'm already at the stage where I can buy gummy melatonins. People.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we were talking about this the other day. So, now that we're older, it's weird because it feels like a lot of from our generation in general. And you're a few years older than us, but not excessively. And it's this weird place that we've all kind of morphed into, and it's very strange because I feel like a lot of us still have these. Like for me, 2002 is 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
it's still a really recent time, and it's an odd place to be. And I'm super stoked that guys I love like you, like MXPX. A couple years ago now, they crowdfunded their record. You guys have your Slick Shoes is popping out with the new record, which is fucking fantastic so far.
Yeah.
But,
So cool.
and you guys' single is amazing. But
thank you.
if you can sort through what I'm saying, by the way, I kind of talk like I have dicks in my mouth when I get going fast. So I apologize.
So when I told my son that we're going to have you on the night, so my kids are quite a bit older than Steven's.
Because he started having kids when he was
very
10.
young. I started very young. And so my kid's daughter is 19, son 20, son 24. And so I told my youngest son, I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he said, "You got anybody coming on?" So I said, "Yeah, we have Reese Roper coming on." I didn't expect him to know you by name. He knows Five Iron Frenzy. I didn't expect him to know you by name, but his exact response was not the same as Steven's son, but he said, That's kind of badass.
Right.
And then he says, "Wait, no, that's actually very badass." Right. So
Did you put a period in between bad and ass?
No, I don't think so. But it's on the phone. Maybe I dropped the period at some point in the call. So
Yeah.
It could be a slash. That's
right.
Bad. That's bad slash ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you. That's terrible parenting for both of you.
Thank you. I pride myself in how terrible of a parent I actually am. So
I pride myself on my kids having decent taste in music. So
yeah, you got that.
yeah. So
But I don't know. But for both of us, for me, I texted him and I was like, "Oh man, I got Reese Roper has agreed to come on for some unknown reason." And then Joey texted me, "Who the fuck is Reese Roper?" And I was like, "Well,
it was a joke, just to clear that up. It was a joke trying to piss Steven off.
Yeah, I know.
So,
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But I was gonna say, it's funny, we were talking about, and we won't talk about Five Iron the entire time, but the first time I saw you guys was I think it was the Echoing Green and the W's and you guys back.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Where
then
were we? In Tennessee?
I think it was I have
Where are
no
you
idea.
guys at in Tennessee, by the way?
Knoxville.
Yeah, we're in Knoxville, but we grew up very close to Nashville.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we ever played in Knoxville. Actually, one time we played outside of Knoxville.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet that
In
was.
Memphis a couple times, Nashville a ton.
It might have been in Memphis. It was some tiny church, like in a youth center.
Chattanooga had a pretty decent venue for a
It
while.
might have been. I don't know. Anyway, it's some weird church. And then a few times in the years, and then I don't know if you were there, but
Probably
I think
in
it was
Atlanta.
2003, your farewell tour. I saw you guys at Rocketown was the last show, and then
yeah.
All right.
I missed all the last ones with MXPX and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. But
I think I live like 4 hours from you guys right now.
yeah,
Really?
you're in Virginia, right? Like Stanton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it is officially pronounced Staunton,
Staunton.
but
Staunton.
yeah, it was like I think Stonewall Jackson had his headquarters here,
Okay.
and then when they moved in, Sheridan or Custer, somebody was pushing people out of
Right.
the breadbasket of the Confederacy that is the Shenandoah Valley.
Right.
They spared the city, so it made it through the Civil War. It's got all these old historic buildings, but the locals, this is the legend. So the locals, when the Civil War is over, they started pronouncing it Stanton because they knew the people from the north would correct them. They'd be like,
Of course.
it's Staunton, and then they could tell who was a Yankee or not, which I am. So
Yeah.
great.
Now, so along those lines, you obviously, based on a lot of songwriting, past songs, like you have a pretty in-depth knowledge / interest in history. Is that kind of just a personal thing? Was it a part of like education, or is it just something you've been passionate about? It's a kind of a random question, but it's because it's a theme that comes up a lot in your various albums and records and so on and so forth, etc.
Yeah. Especially, I think like Native American history has come up several times in Five Iron Frenzy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It, for me as a kid, I can remember being in second grade, and I see this with my daughter. They kids put on these plays. They have to do like a history play. That's what our school did. So the people from my school, the fifth graders, did Native American history thing, or it was American history. But what I got out of it was somebody loved Native Americans, and the fifth graders had like full war bonnets, like floor length.
Oh wow.
War bonnets. There was like 3 or 4 of them in this play when I was in second grade, and
no one cared about cultural appropriation back then.
No, and whatever. I don't
I'm just
want
joking. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to dog on the fifth grade at Steamboat Springs elementary school at the time, but for me, I was like, your whole point. This was in the 70s. And your whole experience with Native Americans was seeing them on the Lone Ranger or on movies,
F Troop,
where they were the bad guys. They were getting massacred, and they were the bad guys, and the cowboys were the good guys. And I saw this, and I kind of lost my mind.
Yeah,
I was like, this is something I've never seen. I saw this nobility and just this amazing pride in the fifth graders wearing this guy's war bonnets, and I this is the kind of kid I was. Is I would just bring home like 5 books from the library. I would always max out the library on both sides, school library and the town library.
Yeah.
But I would just read books about Indians all the time.
Nice.
And about history, and so that's where a lot of that stuff came from.
Okay. I've always been curious what the connection was there. I know for me, like a lot of your songs too, and there's been some dude that's been tweeting about like all your controversial songs over the year, and all the lyrics out recent. I guess over the last 28 days of offensive 5-Iron Frenzy songs, I think are the tweet stream. But have you seen
So
that?
proud of that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No,
Yeah.
that makes my heart soar like a hawk.
But anyway, but like you guys, as far as on that regard, like for me as a young kid, like I was really, like, I had a hard time in the South with a lot of the blind patriotism and a lot of the shit people dug into. Like as far as if you're a Christian, you have to be, you know, behind the flag. You stand behind everything the president does, and this is, you know, this is what it means to be
unless
a
it's
Christian.
Obama, you don't stand behind what
Right,
what he
because you know,
does.
not my president. Right? But it was like so somebody that felt really isolated, like having other things that validated the fact that I'm not the only one that feels like despondent towards all this bullshit that's coming out around me. That, you know, that patriotism does not equal Christianity, does not equal even whether being a good person or does that make sense? Like I'm spitting on my words here, but it was a cool thing to have some validation for those viewpoints. In other words, you birthed anarchy. So thank you for that.
Well, I mean, I think about that as well. I mean, that's why all the music I listened to when I was 16 years old and 17 years old is still so important to me, because it's like you and I didn't, like, so Steven and I, we never really did quite fit in the South. Like
That was super popular.
Super popular, fitting in aren't the same thing. But all that music kind of did something. It kind of brought those of us, I guess, who the people in the South would call us hellions, kind of brought us all together a little bit. It was very much a joining thing. So I mean, honestly, and like at the risk of sounding like I'm just blowing smoke up your ass, like thanks, like legitimately.
That's not what you're blowing to.
Hey, I don't want to be a Deborah Downer, but
Please.
I'm also on call, and I am a nurse. And so can I pause for a second
No,
and call these people back?
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll
give me-
pause this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It must not have been that important.
Yeah. Or
You
it
guys
was
still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh,
Yeah, we're here.
oh, good.
Yeah.
Got muted.
Yeah. So yeah, no, do what you got to do, man. Don't want
Well, if we call back, yeah.
Yeah. So Joey was just yelling at me too, because we usually record the Zoom calls to go, and I forgot to hit record at the beginning of this. So you know,
Let's start over.
no. All right. Are you good, or do you want to hold on for a minute more?
I'm good. If they call back, I might have to. You'll see me do this.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. It seems like you guys have perfect lighting, and I'm worried about because I wish I could. I can show you guys this. This is my studio setup.
Oh,
So
nice.
I have two screens here. This screen, which I used to mix on, it's like a touch screen.
Nice.
I have like this full TV here. So I have 4 screens. Also, yeah. It's some of that melatonin money. I should probably get an extra screen at Costco.
Yeah, no, we have like the dimmable lighting in here. So right before you called in, I looked and said, "Oh, my forehead is shining bright." So I turned to dim the lights a little bit.
You guys look great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're back now. I forgot to hit record on the video for anybody watching this, so
All right, now we're back.
midstream. So as usual, I fucked it up. Sorry.
It's
Joey.
a good thing I'm running the side camera to pick up on.
Oh yeah.
the
So
beginning.
why are you upset?
Well, because no one can see Reese from that camera.
But they can hear Reese, and he
I
has that
understand that.
angelic tenor that
I
soars
agree.
through these microphones.
I agree. Yeah. So.
Oh, hi, you're still there. Yeah. I just completely lost.
Well, we paused recording for a moment because he is on call and he had to go save a life. So
yes, he did.
Yeah.
So that's actually one thing I was going to ask about, because now like all of you guys are older. Like you're like, I know you're a nurse, but aren't you like head of department, division, whatever? So like you're an important dude.
I don't feel important.
Right.
I feel like I've faked my way into this job, but I've become the director of nursing of a continuing care community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about 1,000 people that live in this community, and
wow.
I'm the director of nursing.
Gotcha.
Nice.
It sounds very exciting and fancy, but
so how does that work when you go out on tour? Do you just have to take a leave of absence, or what?
Yeah, we don't tour.
Right.
You go out places. So
right. So I take off a Friday.
Oh, okay. I see.
Right. I fly out Thursday night.
Okay.
Hopefully my flight makes it, and I sleep. Hopefully can sleep in, but usually can't unless I take a lot of melatonin.
Is it the same process for like the whole, when you guys record? I imagine with like 8 people, that gets a little challenging scheduling sessions. I mean,
yeah. This whole thing is the weirdest ever because it's COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had been writing songs. Scott, our bass player, has a really nice studio that he built in his basement, and he should be doing this for a living. He just, I think, doesn't deal with people very well.
Okay.
So I think when you're a producer, you have to, there's a lot of just like, oh, that's great, you guys are sounding good, and he will not do that. So he could not do it for a living.
Yeah, that was a really good take. You should do that one more time.
He's not like that. He would just be like, dude, that fucking sucked. You suck. Yeah. So he could do it for a living, but he won't.
Okay.
He has a really nice studio in his basement, and so we had just been demoing stuff, and finally got to this point where Andy, our drummer, just said, hey, I'm going to come over and track those songs. And then all of a sudden we're like 8 songs into it where he's tracked that stuff. Scott has played, Scott can really play anything, but he played all the guitar for the demo stuff, and he plays bass. He's played guitar in 5 irons, so everything is fine. Sounds great. And we're to the point where we're like, well, maybe we should think about making an album. So we actually have been working on this. We've been working on it for like 7 years, just
nice.
Throwing songs out, kind of messing with them. Mostly we had probably about 6 songs ready. And then in the last, probably since January, we just kind of hit our stride where Scott and I are writing really well together, and we're bouncing things off each other. He mails me stuff, and then I'll record something, and he'll tell me to do it again.
Well, if you want to know more of that story, definitely check out the Mike Harris podcast, because you guys talk about that a good chunk, and it was super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes. So we're close. We have. I went to Florida to record vocals because I can't get good vocal takes of myself.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We got a phone call. It just came in.
This happened to me too. I did the same thing to you guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. What you doing?
You said Carlin like 15 minutes ago. I didn't notice.
That's all right. We got somebody on the phone you wanted to say hi to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Are you still in the car?
No, I'm at my grandma's house right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How's your grandma?
Good.
So you said you wanted to ask Reese Roper a question?
Yep.
What you got?
Oh, how long have you been playing guitar for?
Oh, this is great.
Like, wow, since I was 10, which makes, so I'm 47, so 37 years, which means I should be good at it, but I am awful.
So did you want, you said you wanted to tell Mr. Reese a joke.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Why does the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To bomb North Korea.
Oh, I didn't know that was going there. Oh.
This is
Oh my
a very
gosh.
good Tennessee joke.
yes, it is.
All right, buddy. Did you have anything else you want to say to Reese Roper?
Yes, I am your biggest fan.
I'm also your biggest fan. Hey, say hi to your grandma. I hope you have a fun time over there.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for calling, buddy. I love you.
Bye.
Have a do that. Bye.
That was so cool.
that's Jude.
Oh man. Yeah,
I don't know.
good.
I don't know what it is with. Oh my God. So I was talking to him about with all the election stuff. He has a very split family. My ex-wife is a cop over there, so he gets a lot going on right now with what he hears. And I just asked him, I was like, so buddy, what do you think? What do you think about the election? What do you think about the president and everything that's going on? And he goes, I don't know nothing about that. I was like, okay. I was like, but if what do you think? What have you heard? Like, what's your opinion? He said, well, I heard that Trump doesn't like taxes and taxes are bad, and he has way better YouTube commercials. So I think he's a good guy. And I was like, okay, well, at least you have some some sound logic there, buddy.
It's just sound as anyone else's logic.
Yeah. So that's
God.
he's ridiculous. He lives on a whole different plane of existence. But anyway, I did not mean to interrupt your story.
No, it's fine. I feel the same way when my kids say things against Trump because I'm like, where did you hear this? How did you, did you come to this conclusion on your own? Because then I'm cool with it. But if you're just parroting back something that you heard your mom or I say, or you heard, like your friends say, it doesn't mean anything.
Right. And I try to have the same conversation about that stuff because I try to let them, I mean, he's 10, right? So you have to give him some direction in life. But for a lot of that stuff, like I try not to influence too much or have those conversations around him, all those kind of things, because he's 10. He doesn't need to think about what's going on in the presidency and all that. Like, I feel like it's important for them to know a little bit what's going on in the world, but not so much, specifics of why this guy's an asshole or, whatever the case may be.
It's hard though.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is difficult.
It's really hard to just be like, I don't know, our president, you should respect him. It's really hard now.
Yeah, no, it's a challenging time for everyone.
It's a lot of, at our house, it's a lot of just like, we should pray for him.
Right.
Let's pray for the president. A lot of that.
Yeah. Well, like the North Korea thing, like I said, his grandparents there are that still very conservative, staunchly Southern Baptist, the whole thing. So he hears a lot of that stuff. So hey, that's his own joke though. He did make that up. So he's got that going for him.
He's working it.
Yeah.
That's good for him.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to talk about my shithead kid. So
you were what you were saying, you flew to Florida because you don't get good vocal takes on your own.
Yeah.
So I didn't fly. I was afraid because of COVID. So I drove down there. I rented a car and drove down there. I was there about a week, and we only had, I think Scott and Andy had only tracked 11 songs, so that's what we did. There's nothing else we could have pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 8 more songs
Okay.
that we've written. I don't know if I'll ever get to track them though. This might be the Kickstarter. It might just be this. I've talked to Jeremy.
Then you can cut us into that then if you want to.
There you go. These 11 songs.
Yeah.
We kind of want there to be more. I get in trouble with the guys in the band. Not in trouble. They make fun of me because I have this. I mean, it's a complete superstition about prime numbers.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you're gonna be like, this guy's crazy. I'm really obsessed with prime numbers lately. I think that it's so weird. When I drive, I set my cruise control to a prime number.
Nice.
I'll be like, it's got to be 73 or 67,
mm-hmm.
depending on what you're in. I mean, if you're in a 70, you got to go 73. If you're in a 65, 67.
Okay.
That's
all the time we have today.
No, I don't know why. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Somehow I bet that didn't come up on the podcast with Mike Herrera.
No, it did not. So like, this is my thing. When you read the Bible, there's a lot of numbers in there, and there's a lot of people that have all these wacky theories about numerology. And,
yeah.
Especially, so the Hebrew, each letter was assigned a number,
mm-hmm.
and the copying of the Torah of like all Hebrew scripture was done like in a mathematical formula. So they could tell, if you're a good rabbi, you could tell if it was miscopied because it followed a mathematical pattern with the numbers of each letter, which is mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it just blows your mind that such a thing exists. But like, what I like to think is that most of the time when it mentions a number in the Bible, it is a prime number. So there's like one God. He's in three parts. There's actually like a verse in Revelation that talks about the 7 spirits of the living God.
Mm-hmm.
Revelations. It's like in the first chapter. Maybe. I don't know. There you go. I just told everybody, hey, if you read the Bible.
It's the weirdest way I've ever heard someone tell people they should read the Bible.
Yeah. Or like, so repetitions of like the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 7.
Right.
It's just, I love that. It's cool mathematically. They're prime numbers. They cannot be divided. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, what makes a good album order is when you do prime numbers. Like if your first song, your second song, your third song, they're all great. Your 5th song is great. Your 7th song is great. Your 11th song, if it's your last song, and then 13 if you do an extra long album.
Yeah. If it's screw that 6th song.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever made anything less than 13, except for EPs.
Yeah, well, even like what the one EP with all the pants songs. I mean, even though that was like a true EP, but then it still was like 74 tracks.
74 pants songs.
Yeah,
There's one about Kingdom of the Dinosaurs. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
That was one of the first discoveries that Jude made, and that's his. Yeah,
it's a gateway drug.
It's a gateway drug, man.
That's how we get the kids.
Is that ever been a thing for you guys? Because guys have always had a pretty girl. Excuse me for being a sexist asshole.
You say guys because we're from Colorado, and you can always refer to all people as guys.
Okay. But a lot of people that I know got into you guys, like you said, the gateway drugs of the silly songs. But did you ever feel pinned in by? Because most 5 Iron friends I know or I see online are pretty open. They're open about their hatred and disdain for the music. But was there ever like a time that you had to kind of say, well, we got to get a little more serious with shit so we don't get pigeonholed into this silly stuff, or has it all been pretty fluid for you guys?
We try to bring balance to those things. I think we always try and have, I feel like we're shying away from the silly stuff, just for the fact that we have a lot of other things to say.
Yeah, for sure.
You need to have the silly stuff. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can't get a silly song on this album, we're probably going to have to release Jesus of Nazareth 3.
Yeah. Good. I love the disdain that's currently on your face. It's heartwarming.
No, I think those are the most fun of all songs to make.
Yeah, for sure.
So are there any of those songs that you just, if you never had to perform it again, that would be great?
I think I know the one he's going to say, but
of songs that we play a lot of?
Well, just any of those songs that you like, the silly songs. If you never had to play it again, that would be great.
Yeah, we just don't play them. We just don't.
Yeah.
So the ones you don't play, you don't have anything that fans like borderline demand to hear?
The silly songs that we do play, I think we play like You Probably Shouldn't Move Here just about every show, which is super silly, but it's also a good point to make. It's about trying to convince people not to move to Colorado.
Right.
So it still has meaning, and I think everybody loves it.
So did you guys learn like through Mike and them's like mishaps that you don't beg people to move to where you're at?
Yeah.
It's just, as soon as you said that, my immediate thought was move to Bremerton, and I was like, oh, that's a completely different approach to your fans.
Yeah, I bet they had like 20 stalkers that day just show up. Hey, do you know where Mike Herrera lives?
Oh, I'm sure we talked about it when we were teenagers, when we graduated high school, driving to Bremerton and just seeing if we could find Mike, Tom, and Yuri.
Yeah,
because we knew they were in Bremerton. Like, it's got to be easy to find them.
There probably is like a Navy recruitment office there.
Oh,
and they send you there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bremerton.
Right. Yeah.
You can live here and work on submarines.
That's right.
So,
all right. So.
What, you have to go ahead?
No. I was just going back to where I didn't want to completely derail it.
I hate you.
I know you do. Yet you come here every week.
I know. It's because you won't drive to my house.
You're damn right.
Are you guys in the same room?
Yeah. We're sitting directly across from each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I totally thought you were in your own house.
No.
We're holding hands actually beside the computer while we talk.
Oh, that's not that. That's your hand. I thought that was something else.
Needs now.
Yeah, no. We're sitting. It's just easier when we do a Zoom call for us each to set up a laptop for the video. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. Damn COVID. We're gonna be around each other.
Well, actually, what it boils down to is if I get COVID, he's fucking gonna get COVID. Like, I'm not going through it by myself.
Well, we're also about the only people that will be around the other one. So
that's true.
Look what I found at Ross, though.
Nice.
Black face mask.
Nice.
It's rock and roll.
I'm in Cobra.
That's right.
Like, do you see this? I need a blue helmet. And we're ready.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I was joking with him before. I was like, you know what? I'm going to introduce Reese when he comes on. I'm gonna be like, and now we've got the guy because we couldn't get Mike Herrera. So welcome, Reese.
And not for not trying.
Do you guys want to talk about MXPX?
No.
Okay,
you just happened to be on Mike's podcast recently, and we're both big fans of you guys and MXPX. Right. So. And we have reached out to Mike multiple times to have him as a guest with no response whatsoever. So.
Well, why would he? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
But no, dude, when we randomly connected on Twitter, I was so jazzed. Like, I called him. I was like, oh, my God, this is the best day. I was super stoked. So, Because really it boils into my childhood dream of us being best friends one day. That's, neighboring houses, the weird shit. No, I'm kidding. But
It's the most excited I've seen a 40-year-old man in a long time.
It can happen.
it can.
It can, and it should.
Right?
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Are you guys both drinking? So you both have the George Dickel.
Yes.
Yeah, both got the George Dickel.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you drinking?
I'm drinking gin, but
Nice.
I put it in kombucha.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is like a hippie for loco.
Yeah, say
Nice.
my wife loves some kombucha. I can't.
Oh, I can't stand it.
She's
Yeah.
all about it.
My
I don't
daughter
think
likes it.
I think there's people that like make kombucha in their basement, and they're probably right now revolting.
Right.
Is
My
it-
wife made the homemade shit for a while. She got the whatever it is and let it ferment, and she's all about it. Yeah. Well, she's gotten really into like herbal stuff and energy work and all that stuff over the last few years. And then like the history of like witches in America, how a lot of them were like granny healers and like persecuted just because they were still practicing medicine instead of whatever in this whole thing. But
I did not make that jump with you.
Thank you. I didn't either.
Suddenly witchcraft. All right.
You're welcome.
Suddenly. Fine.
That actually brings in, well, it's really funny because we've talked about that stuff before, and there's this really weird evolution that's happened like with Christianity, and I feel like our generation of people and yours, like over the last, I don't know, like since a lot of the people that were like really big in the 90s, heavily in the Christian movement, whether it was in the rock and roll or like Master's Commission and all this other stuff, there's kind of been this weird, from the church's perspective, a big fallout, so to speak. But there's a lot of people, because I feel like they were so disenfranchised and kind of let down by what was portrayed Christianity to be, and then the world did not reflect, like reality didn't reflect what was being fed to them.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of I guess people that either walked away completely or realized, it's got to be something different than what I've been fed, and so like I'm gonna make my own way through this shit.
Yeah, I feel like most of our country is in this space. I think the church used to have such a hold on people because it made you socially acceptable to go to church. It made you a member, like an upstanding member of your community.
Right.
And now it's almost like a stigma. It's almost something that makes you seem like a shifty person.
Right.
Yep.
And that
Well,
is
like
not the
we've
character
talked.
of Christ.
Right. Well, like I went to Bible school back in the day. I was a full-time youth pastor and did the pastor thing for a short period of time. Feels like a lifetime ago. And then after kind of getting like behind the curtain, so to speak, and seeing how things were run, and it was just a business. And then, the love for people really wasn't there that much. And then my first marriage completely tanked and fell apart. And then it was like, oh, you're divorced now. You're no longer welcome.
Yep.
In what we do in our world, and doesn't matter what you're wanting or what your intentions are, like because of this one event that happened in your life, we don't want any part of that. And for me, that was kind of the big, like, well, fuck you guys then.
Yeah.
And then I ended up military and all that other stuff down the road, and made me the fine upstanding man I obviously am today. But I've noticed that with a lot of people that I knew during that time, is they're either completely out of the whole thing. Most of them that had these God-ordained marriages that, they just had to fight through some spiritual warfare to marry their partners. Have ended up divorced and broken homes. And it's just been like this, at least in my experience, it's just been this plague of brokenness that's come out of that period of time in the church. And I've always found that really fascinating, I guess, if lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think our whole country is in that spot. Either they're going to church because
it's expected.
Because it's expected, or it feels safe to them,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't want to throw all the churches under the bus, because I think
Sure.
there's some good churches, but
Absolutely.
We have a friend that runs a great church in
Yeah.
Nashville. Yeah.
but I feel like that hold that church had for almost, the greater part of maybe 2,000 years, let's say 1,000 years.
Okay.
It's gone. It's no longer a thing to go to church. It's negative.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, like, you can mourn that. You can be
Mhm.
like, oh man, I really love Sunday school. I love this thing, and bummer that's gone.
Right.
Or like for me, I'm rejoicing in this. I feel that Jesus is real. This is the love of Christ means something to me, and it has to if this is real, it will live on. It will live on in people's houses.
Mhm.
It will live on in whatever. Like
Right.
all these Christian bookstores are out of business. All these churches are like the other day, I drove by a church that was being built, and I was just like, why? Why would you build a new church? There's probably 1,000 churches like you could find just by doing a Google search that want you to move and take over their building because nobody goes there anymore.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know. To me, this is amazing. I feel like you can mourn the loss of that, or you can stand back and just watch Jesus work.
Yeah.
If he's real, if the Holy Spirit is real, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny in that regard. Like my whole belief system has changed significantly since then, and I don't want to get into any bullshit debate of any kind. Like, that's not the point of this. But even with all of that stuff, like it's one thing I try to tell the kids and other people, like, as much of an asshole as I am, like, compassion and kindness go so far, because there's a huge lack of that with a lot of people in the midst of the selfishness and the world revolving around you and your bubble, and anything outside of that is irrelevant because I gotta get from A to B or whatever the case may be. Like, just even kindness to people that you wouldn't usually want to be kind to, like, goes so far. And that's why I try to tell the kids, man, the most important things you can be are like kind and brave and like compassionate. Because if nothing else, because like I've said, like, the world's a shitty enough place as it is without you good?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's say the world's a shitty enough place without the people just being jerks to everybody. Like, the least you can do is show some kindness to people that need it.
Yes. These are my little people. This is Era.
Hi. I don't
Lyndon,
think it
come
hears,
here.
but
Show them your thing. This is Lyndon.
That looks like my daughter has one of those as well.
One of those things.
Yes.
They both have one. The 5-year-old, it stopped working, so we have to, like, take it apart and glue it back together, I guess.
My daughter's 19 and she has one of those. Yes.
You're gonna exchange it.
Yeah.
We have a cool toy store where we live here in Stanton, Virginia, called Puffer
okay.
Bellies, and they sell cool toys like this, but you can also exchange them
Nice.
if you unwind the spinny bracelet.
well, we are at the point where we usually take a quick break. So do you want to take 5 or 10 so you can take care of your kiddos there and
Yeah.
pop back on?
Thanks so
Good with
much,
that?
you guys.
Yeah, we'll keep the call going and everything, and then we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So
10
just
minutes.
Take your time.
No, it can be longer than that. We'll keep it running just so we can see you when you pop back on. But
Yep.
All right.
right.
I'll be right back.
Come in.
Yep. Thanks.
Lyndon, I want to see your little guy.
Hey, everybody. We'd like to take a minute to tell you about a really cool podcasting app called Stitcher Premium.
Yeah, Stitcher Premium is, like you said, a free app, and they've got everything you could look for: true crime, comedy, pop culture, The Office ladies. I think Conan O'Brien's podcast is on there. There's lots of things on there.
And archives of all those things.
Oh, yeah. And smart lists.
Yeah, the smart list. That's what I was about to say, you fuck. Smart lists basically will watch what you're listening to, or say listen to what you're listening to,
Right.
use some fancy algorithms, and make recommendations on shit that you already like.
Yeah, so if you go to Stitcher.com/premium and use the code B3F, you can get a month free. So it's $4.99 a month, or $34.99 if you pay for a full year. But use the code B3F and you'll get a free month.
Check it out.
We were listening, hoping we would hear you talking shit. Like, I got to get back on the phone with these jerks, Tennessee
Rednecks.
Yeah.
They tell North Korea jokes. They're horrible people.
You guys are cool. Whatever.
By the way, what kind of gin are you drinking?
New Amsterdam.
Okay.
Okay, we had.
Have you tried the Aviation, the Ryan Reynolds gin? If you're a
I
gin
have
guy?
not.
It's
Is it-
legit fantastic.
Yeah, it is
It
good.
sounds expensive.
It's not terrible.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Comparatively for its price point, and I'm not a huge gin guy, and it's so good.
I'm not either. I went through a phase where I was drinking gin and tonics all the time,
Oh
Uh-huh.
so I still have gin, and
That works.
I'm trying with kombucha, and it's not bad.
That's not bad. All right. That's a brave. That's a brave move.
Yeah, I don't know how I would have ever put those two together. Not in my mind, anyway.
Yeah,
Right. Well, are you good to get back started?
yeah. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me all right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can hear you fine.
And if you need to lean back because you're back or whatever, we can hear you just fine the way you are. So,
It's fine.
All right.
You know how you're supposed to do stomach exercises?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both challenged each other to a weight loss competition at the beginning of the year, and we both lost virtually the same amount of weight. I think we lost like 30 pounds in 2 months, and then promptly put it back on when the competition was over.
Oh, it was so unhealthy. But I lost by a pound, and I had to get a full body wax head
Yeah.
to toe. It was awful.
That was the price.
That was my
full
punishment.
body wax.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Ouch.
if he lost, he had to shave his head, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but
It is
he's
to
had
me.
he's had this deal with God when he was like 10 that if he would never shave his
That's
head if
right.
he never went bald.
It's
So-
the
Let me
few
see your
things-
hair, man.
So I was basically gonna like. Make
Oh
him,
yeah.
I was gonna make
Jeez.
him. I was gonna make him break a deal with God. Was the whole point of it.
Please don't shave that. Look at all that hair.
I'm telling you, completely unwashed for 3 weeks, man.
Don't start on that garbage. He's a disgusting trash man.
What is happening where you're not washing your hair?
I just quit washing my hair like 3 years ago just to try it out to see, because I'd heard both sides of the argument. So this came up on last week's episode because we had it. I noticed you just hit record now.
It's because this is a
Yeah,
We had this
you're-
conversation.
idiot.
So we had a guy in that's local to Knoxville, a buddy that has a hair product company, Anchors Away, to give him a shout out, Ben Miller.
Okay.
He makes great products from beard balm and wax and paste and all that. Anyway,
Pomade.
and pomades, yep. And so Steven cornered him and was like, tell Joey that his hair, that's disgusting and nasty. And he wouldn't.
Yeah, but he had
He wouldn't agree with Steven, but he wouldn't validate me either. But 3 years ago, I
No,
quit
whole
washing
thing
my
is, though,
hair.
The whole point is it's not about cleaning
3
your
years
hair.
ago.
It's about
3
cleaning.
years
It's
ago.
about cleaning your scalp.
So
your skin.
now,
That's what it's about.
the way I do it
What?
is
Right.
when I
It's
take a
disgusting.
shower, I like soap on the rest of my body just like normal, and then I just hot water rinse through my hair. It's like I'm washing my hair, but there's no shampoo
No,
involved.
it's not like you're.
And so, no, I'm saying I go through the motions, but it's just hot water. The only time my hair gets washed is every 3 weeks when I get a haircut. The girl washes my hair. That's it. And my hair
wait a
has
second.
never felt. My hair has
it's not
never
even-
felt better.
You get a haircut every 3 weeks?
I get a haircut every 3 weeks. I'm vain like that.
Oh, he's frozen again.
Well,
But that's a great face to be.
Yeah.
Hey, there he is.
yeah. Sorry, you froze up for a second. Yes, I get a haircut every 3 weeks. Yes.
I'm super jealous.
No, but okay. But I try to
It's
tell
called
him,
self-care.
it's not about washing your hair. It's
How
about
much
washing
does
your
it
scalp.
cost?
Tip and all about $40.
Dang!
Yeah,
I don't
know.
want to talk about my melatonin money anymore.
No, I mean, like I have We don't make any money on this podcast, so
No,
it's all
I
off my
see.
day job. But
You have fantastic hair. Show
Thank
me
you
it
very much.
again. Let's see it again. Dude. Yeah. Man, so do you have
that's
baldness in
40-year-old
your
hair
family?
right there. That's 40-year-old hair.
Yeah, like I'm getting thin back here. Definitely up front. I just kind of hide it with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's amazing.
I'm telling you, quit washing your hair.
Don't. But again, saying it, it's not about washing your hair. It's about washing your scalp.
My scalp is fine. If my scalp was bad, I would be
It's not about
littered
being
with
bad or good. It's about being fucking clean.
Sure,
It's like,
but I would have
you wash the rest of your body. Why not just stop
I
doing
would
that and
have
rinse with hot water?
awful dandruff if my scalp was as bad off as
No,
you're saying.
it's clean. Not about being dry or moisturized. It's about being clean.
My ancestors didn't use soap.
Your ancestors smelled like assholes.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good ever a good argument. If you're ever like, people are not naturally supposed to do that. Because
No, I don't feel
What?
that way. But I had heard both sides of the argument about that soap, that shampoo strips it away, conditioner puts it back, and
It's
I'd
not about your
heard
hair.
I had heard both sides of this argument about scalp and hair, and I just said, you know what, screw it. I will go and not wash my hair and let me just see for myself. And my hair and scalp and everything has never felt better.
I want to hear
All
Reese
right.
Roper call you a disgusting trash
It's
person.
fine. I don't care. It's
No,
not going
man.
to change me. It's not going to change what I do. 3 weeks
Half
is
of me
fine.
wants to try this, but I also
I'll tell you,
have
the first 2 to 4 weeks, your hair is going to be a greasy mess.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. At our age, it may not, but I know when I
Does it smell weird?
no.
Yes.
No,
He
it
smells
does-
terrible all the
You're
time.
so fucking insane, man.
He's
No, it
right.
does not.
He's right across from you, and he says you stink.
But he would say anything. It doesn't matter. He would say anything to me. We've been friends for like 23 years. He would say whatever it took to make himself right and me wrong.
We're one episode
Okay.
away from not being friends anymore. I just want you to know
It's
this.
fine. I don't care. Oh, God.
Jesus. If you're just joining us, by the way, we have the
Who just joins in the middle of a
I
podcast?
don't know, but I'm
Who
just
does
saying.
that?
I
Who
like
just
to pretend.
takes a podcast and go, you know what? I'll start an
Oh,
hour in.
I do.
I do that. Yeah, I'm
Do
just
you?
like first half is
Oh.
probably garbage.
By the way,
Coming
Reese
in.
Roper looks like just a slightly less sexy Ryan Reynolds.
You think so?
Just slightly.
bless.
Okay.
God bless you for saying that. That's so nice.
Yeah. That's my dream. So one day.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
never mind.
Yeah.
He's
It's like-
he's full on. I have a full on Ryan Reynolds man boner. I will.
Like the one dude you would be like, well, maybe. At least for cuddling.
There you go.
Yes. That is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
My
Oh.
wife has accepted this as well.
Right.
Probably because she has the same feelings for Ryan Reynolds as well.
No,
No.
she doesn't. She's
Her
into
dream-
she's
her
into
dream-
Willem Dafoe.
Her dream man is William Dafoe.
What?
Yes. She's into Willem Dafoe. Yes.
Dude,
We
you
we,
have,
we cornered her one day.
What
and
does
was
that
like,
say about me?
We made her give. We were talking about Ryan Reynolds, and we said, "Well, who would be your choice?" And she was like, "I don't know, someone like Willem Dafoe." What? You didn't at least go with like Jeff Daniels or something.
Yeah,
You
how
went
does-
straight to the Green Goblin?
That
Right.
makes me feel fantastic about what I look like in the mirror.
Oh God.
yeah, these conversations never go well.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
do you have an open relationship with your wife where you're like, who's your celebrity crush? Because that's just probing for what do you want to fight about later?
Yeah. So I've been married almost 21 years, and we've had these conversations before, and thankfully, it's never ended in a fight. It is a strange thing because I say always, mostly name off people that are similar to my wife, and she doesn't. She names off people that are absolutely 100% different from me. They're not
Do you
the
do
same
that on
color as me.
purpose?
They wash their hair. They do. I mean, some of it, sure.
He intentionally loses like weight loss efforts together. Like he does worse simply because he's a way better human being than I am. Because
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I crushed you. I did a great job.
Yeah, we've never competed at it, but I always make sure that that I don't do as good. And maybe that's patriarchal and misogynistic. I don't know.
I think it's considerate and sweet.
That's
thank
how you
you.
stay married.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I've been married 3 times and you've been married 1 time.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm great at relationships, by the way.
Yeah.
I like Reese is like, fuck, the first half of this was fun, but
No, man, I'm also bad at it. I'm fighting with my wife.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I've been. Yeah.
My wife is the breadwinner, so that's why I can afford $40 haircuts every 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She hasn't always
Dude.
been, but she has been for the last couple of years. So
Have you seen the Dave Chappelle skit where he is
Oprah?
like married to Oprah? Yeah.
yes, I've been rewatching Chappelle show lately.
There's no dude that doesn't want that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not at all. Like compared to you being the breadwinner and your wife not, no. It's so much better the other way. I want the other thing.
She said yesterday with my daughter standing there. So my daughter's the only one of my kids that still lives at home while she's in college, and she said yesterday she was like,
She's
"I don't
also
want
your only like kid that I like."
Yeah, no.
Oh no.
She said something along the lines of, "I don't want to go to work anymore. I should have married someone rich or something like that. Like I should have married a millionaire or something like that, or I should have married someone that was going to be rich." And I was like, I don't know what I did to make you think I was going to be rich one day. I was 18 years old.
But no matter what, we always have each other.
That's true. That's why Steven and I have stayed friends for so long. We're the only 2 people that could tolerate each other for this many years.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But
Proud of you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, by the way, as long as I was earlier dropping names for shows and showing how cool I am, in the history of ever. And I actually also saw you play as Roper back in the day in Franklin, Tennessee, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
It was, dude, holy shit. Gosh, dang it. Who opened for us?
I don't remember. I was trying to remember that too.
No, you need to remember this because they're huge.
I don't.
I have had too much of the kombucha.
Yeah, that's what it is.
God bless it. I remember in that place, whoever owned that. This is what Nashville is like. You play some show and they'll be like, "Oh, it's also a label showcase." There's John Bonham's drum set, and it's like the huge orange, like plexiglass John Bonham drum set, and it's just sitting there.
It was a cool venue. It was like attached to some studio or something like that. It was a pretty cool spot.
Right. Some freaking billionaire is just like, whatever.
But it was
my kid fell into it yesterday. It's John Bonham's drum set. Who opened up for us? Dude, I feel ridiculously stupid for not remembering this.
I've Googled it, but it's not really giving
because you've played so few shows. You should remember every band you've ever played with.
Right.
No, but it's like on the tip of my tongue, and I feel stupid for not thinking about it. It was, gosh dang it! If I just look like on my iTunes playlist, I will find them.
We'll wait.
What is this band?
Trying not to keep talking to them, trying to let you process.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Apparently, there's a new version of the iPhone software that I have to get before I can look at anything.
Have you ever been asked this question before?
Which question?
About people that opened for you whenever you were solo.
so, like in some type, yes. It's like some frame of the question, yes. It's always abuseful. Like we took, so Switchfoot went on a small tour with the Supertones when they first started,
Right.
Yeah.
and then nobody would touch them, and they were about to break up, and we had heard them on like some sampler
Mhm.
and been like, this band is freaking amazing. Bought their first album, Legend of Chin, and
Great
then,
album.
yeah.
It's actually
And then
one of
we're
my
like-
favorite Switchfoot records was
Yeah.
Legend of Chin. It was so good.
So finally we were like at this spot where our label was like, who do you guys want to bring on this tour? And we all said, this band. And they tried to talk us out of it. They're like, it's not going to really bring anybody into your, to your shows, and they're not very good. And we're like, did you listen to it?
John Foreman is such a brilliant songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we, okay, I might have just found it. Hold on. My computer's getting glitchy for the.
It's because you have 20 computers and 19 screens open there.
Yeah, I took one of these old Mac Pros and I like rebuilt it, and it sometimes gets glitchy.
I stole a Mac Pro from work specifically for this podcast.
You didn't steal it.
I borrowed it indefinitely.
Not the same thing.
That's true. So do you get hassled about?
I don't need your grandmother reporting us for stolen.
Oh my God.
Equipment.
So this podcast is pretty rough from time to time, language wise, content wise, and whatever. So we had this one episode where I talked a lot of shit about my family, and mostly joking and extreme and over the top. But nevertheless, it wasn't that friendly.
Paramore.
Yeah. Oh, Paramore.
Wow.
Oh, shit, it was
Paramore. Fucking opened for us.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
They
So
had to be like, what, 12?
Right.
13?
Yeah, I saw them play at a Warped Tour and they had like 20 people in front of them, but they were, it was good.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man.
It was Paramore. Holy
Yes.
shit.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Paramore.
Wow.
And we were like, did they open for us or did we play first? Maybe we played first.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember, but that's crazy.
Like if we played first, there is some sort of balance to the universe.
Do you ever get hassled for a new Roper record? Do people get super stoked on that?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have hassled might be the wrong word, but I know some people really dug the solo. Or I'd say solo, but you know what I mean.
I want it. It's hard to make the space for it. And
I understand.
so when we made it, it was kind of a product of 5 Minute Walk. Frank, the owner, said, "Hey, we never, the one thing I never did was break a band into the general market. What do you think about doing a pop punk album? Just find a bunch of dudes that you're friends with, and they can play the instruments." So Ethan Luck, who was a guitar
fantastic musician. Yeah.
player, anything that dude. Speaking of people that can play anything, he was the drummer in the Dingies.
Oh, the Dingies. I haven't heard that name in years. That's awesome.
He was also the drummer in Reliant K for a long time.
I saw him perform with Reliant K as their drummer once. Yes.
He is the best guitar player I've ever seen. He's so amazing. But like I've also hung out with him, and he'll just be like, he's like, hey, showing it around his house, and then here's this room, and he'll pick up an accordion or something and just be like tearing it up on it. Anything that dude touches, he's amazing. He sings amazing. He is incredible. So he helped write half the songs, and then Saki, who produced most of the 500 stuff, he helped write the other half. think they let me write one song.
You were just a pretty face.
Nah, yeah, that's all. There's like
the slightly less sexy Ryan Reynolds.
pretty good. You wrote a song. You wrote a song in the key of G. Good job. So, I think I wrote "Hello Lame Wads," and then a friend of ours who was in the band that Nick, the drummer from Roper, was in, Nick Leonardi, who's also friends with Ethan. He wrote a few of the songs. But yeah, it was just like, it was such a great idea. It was so fun to make. I love pop punk, and in Five Iron you were always fighting with, oh crap, we gotta leave room for the horns.
Right.
You know, and so to get out of that and just be like, I'm writing just a rock record. It's just gonna be, you know, this crazy thing. So that album is a lot of just kind of like butt rock, you know, like we covered Creedence on the tour.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, well, this fits.
Yeah. It was I remember being a super fun show.
Yeah.
We covered Creedence in a band that we played in together.
Oh
back
my
in the
God.
day.
We're both super failed musicians.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I the one Kickstarter I ever did, my goal was like $5,000, and I ended up putting in $1,500 of my own money just to finish funding it so I could do my vinyl. Yeah, it was a very discouraging experience.
Well, I just tried to ride your coattails. That was it. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What song did you cover?
Down on the Corner.
Down on the Corner.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not good. It was not good.
It's probably the best song we played.
I'll give you that much.
That's a tough song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting time.
It was nice for me being the bass player. It was nice to be able to play that bass lick. So
yeah, that's the tough part.
Yeah, we played together off and on for 10 years or so.
It was a while. We've been in probably 3 bands together.
And then I did the solo thing for a long time and had way more success with that.
Had way more success.
Even though that was a very limited amount of
But I will also
success.
tell you, you saved your good songwriting for your solo stuff.
Oh, yeah, of course. You guys weren't worth my time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't. In all fairness, though, I didn't come into my own in that regard until I was like 25 or 30. I was
Strung out.
I was a super late bloomer. Yeah, when I was addicted to Oxycontin and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was telling, like, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder in mid-late 2000s, and then I was like, this makes so much sense why I've been so fucked up for so long. And you know, that fed into a lot of things. But then after I got medicated and stuff, you know, I kind of
It got better.
The writing got better, but I also realized that if I wanted to stay married this time around, which my wife is amazing, like legitimately amazing, and if I wanted that to work, like I had to get out of it because my ego and then just my penchant for like addictive personality and self-destructive behavior was not conducive. Like I couldn't handle doing that and being in a relationship that I needed with the stability and all that stuff, if that makes sense at all.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It's the most mature decision I've ever seen him make.
That's fair. Yeah, I miss it though. Like I miss. I shouldn't say play music. I just miss the performance. You know, just we've always joked that like to be a good musician, you have to be equal parts. I shouldn't say to be, but most very successful musicians, or even just people that play regularly, have this weird dichotomy of like a little bit of narcissism and a lot of self-loathing, and they kind of blend together to make this at least part of that along the way.
Yeah, you have to have just enough Freddie Mercury and not enough Kurt Cobain that you kill yourself.
Right. Which that was the path I was quickly on.
Which stand-up comedy is very similar to that. It's very similar.
Well, most artists have like this, like there's a dark side that runs through. I mean, that's where they pull a lot of.
Well, I've heard a lot of stand-up comedians say that comedians always wish that they were musicians, and musicians always wish that they were comedians. Like it's
true.
Yeah.
A
lot of
have you
comedians
seen our
play
stage
music
show?
on the side. Yeah.
We just joke around, or it's just like 5 hour, just jokes. Every once in a while, we play a song.
Right.
Right.
No, you guys always have a fucking fantastic live show, even
Right.
like for years. I mean, ever since the first time I saw you guys, even if, you know, in your formative years, so to speak, I mean, you guys always put on a great show. And
Thank you.
it's something I always loved. Like, you're probably one of my top 5 frontmen. Like, I think it's like, not to fanboy all over you, but no, you're a great front guy, whether you
Right.
believe it or not. It's, you know, whatever.
But this is what you need.
That
There you
is
go.
beautiful.
That's my
Well,
youngest.
Freddie Mercury's the greatest frontman of all time. Like, there's no arguing that.
Absolutely.
That's my youngest son's favorite. Queen is my youngest son's favorite band. He absolutely loves Freddie Mercury, and he will argue.
That's
There's
his son's only redeeming value.
that whatever the article was that came out in Rolling Stone, however many years ago it was, where it ranked frontmen, and it put, as far as vocals go, and it put Axl Rose at number 1, and Freddie Mercury. I don't even know that Freddie Mercury was number 2. I don't remember.
No, he was in the top 5, but he was not one or two.
My youngest son will argue with you to the death why Freddie Mercury puts everyone else to shame.
Your son is right.
Yeah, I agree. I'll never tell him you said that, but
not just as singer, but as a frontman.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
He's
think
unmatched.
if you think about how sick he was toward the end of his career and what he was still doing on stage and leaving it all out there, it's insane.
Yeah.
It really is.
But again, that heavy darkness and that whatever, it runs parallel with a lot of that greatness.
Sure.
Like
So,
Robin Williams, you know.
if you have ever read Kurt Cobain's Suicide Note, he talks about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't be this good.
Yeah. But
Which
nobody
sucks. Which sucks because that shouldn't be what you're trying to do, you know?
Right. But it is. I mean, that's never. There's always those musicians or artists that are in your life that you look at them play and it's like, I should just quit. Like, there's no point in me doing this because I'm never going to be at that level of talent. At least for me, there was always that. Like, I'd see certain people play and I'd like, fuck this. I just should quit.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
You got to be you. No matter what. Like,
oh, absolutely.
You be you.
Well,
that's what people think is cool.
Yeah. No, for sure. I just meant as a person, like the things you strive to be, at least for me, like there's always pockets of that. Like I would jump on stage with anybody. I didn't care if it was a death metal band or if it was a, K-pop band. Didn't matter. I'd play with anybody, but there's still always a part of me that was like, oh, they're really good. Like I'm going to get up there and I'm going to tell dick jokes and I'm going to, be super abrasive and people are either going to love me or they're going to hate me. Like, I don't care which, but they're going to have some feelings about me.
We played with a few bands back in the day that we looked at and were like, oh my God, these guys are awful. Like they were young and they just hadn't come into their own yet. They hadn't done whatever. But,
and then you see those bands having this amazing success.
But their local fan base or their friends, whatever, were so many that like, they could pack a place out. So, just.
Well, one thing I was actually, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you ever see a local band and you're just like, oh, like it's like a life-changing event, or you see a local band and you're like, these guys are just owning their shit so well.
Yeah.
There was a band that they had originally been based out of Knoxville and then they all moved toward Nashville.
Uh-huh.
They were called, oh God, they broke up a year or two ago. I can't think of their name, but anyway, they were a psychedelic rock funk band. They did several covers, but they had some of their own stuff.
I'm going to interrupt you for 2 seconds. I'm going to let you guys chat. I'm about to piss my pants. So I'm going to step off and do that. I'll be back momentarily.
Go ahead. No. And they, God, I wish I could remember their name, but anyway, I'll find it in a second, but they were so good and they just could command the attention of an audience. And they played in Knoxville several times a year because they had originally started out here.
Yeah.
And I would go and watch them and just stand at the back or stand in the balcony and just really enjoy what they were doing on stage. At Stephen and my age, like, that's kind of what we do now when we go to it doesn't matter who it is. If we go to a big show, local show, it doesn't matter. You kind of stand at the back and you just enjoy the music and what the people are able to do with their instrument. And these guys were so good. And it's just one of those things where it was like, they've broken up. I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but they split up, and it's just, I was in awe of what they were able to do, because they were quite a bit younger than I was. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, just to watch a small time local band be able to do something like that is just insane. And then, especially then when you watch them a little while and they don't ever really get out of, say, a regional popularity or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
it's both sad and the nature of the beast, I guess.
it is the nature of the beast. I don't know what to say about that. I think about this all the time. Why my band? So our Kickstarter is at 198,000.
2,000 to that final.
I have friends. So I'll pimp them. The Echoing Green.
Yeah, they were a great band, or are a great band.
They are still going, and they're amazing.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's great synth pop. They're amazing. But like when I see that, I just kind of shake my head. I know there are far better bands than Five Iron Frenzy. I don't know what to do with that. I'm thankful that we get this. We're still going. You know, we've been a band for 25 years. But I don't know. There's so many good bands that never get heard.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
So Backup Planet, that was the name of the band I was talking about. Their name was Backup Planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Backup
We never
Planet.
got to see them, but yeah.
They're gone.
They're gone.
Are they still around?
They are no longer. No, they don't play anymore.
Yeah.
What's really frustrating too, like at least I don't know how it is a lot of places you've played, but a lot of southern towns, especially Knoxville being a college town,
Yeah.
or where I was at in Huntsville, Alabama, when I
You guys
first got
have a
into
college
military.
there?
Yeah, University of Tennessee. Yep. Yeah.
He's being an asshole. That's
I know he's being an asshole, but I got to get
See ya.
University of Tennessee out there
his
because
daughter goes
football
to UT.
season's about to start. So
I have no.
Speaking
no
Are they
I didn't
having football season?
hey, it's the SEC, man. Fuck
The SEC is doing it.
It's the SEC. Fuck your masks. that's what the SEC says.
Yeah.
You know what? What
it's Jesus'
sucks?
conference.
What sucks is we could have football if people would just be like, if the coach was just like, look, you're going from your dorm to your computer
Yep.
to learn, and then you're going to the field, and I don't
Yep.
want you to go anywhere else.
Yep.
That's football. If they all just agreed to that, fine, football. Like they
Right,
could do pro football, anything. It could happen.
Well, I mean,
But
so
everybody's just like, what? There's a kicker?
yeah. So I mean, pro football started Thursday night, and I'm the sports fan. Steven is not the sports fan. But pro football started Thursday night. I'm excited about it. I love football. It's the number one sport, but
Oh my god,
just ahead of hockey.
I hate you so much.
I know you do. But the SEC decided we were playing, and so we're only playing SEC teams this year, which is good for the SEC because now they have to put up. The SEC has said for so long that they're the toughest conference in the country. Now they get to prove it because
Who is all in the SEC?
Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Florida, Missouri, Texas A&M, Arkansas.
Oh my god.
That may be it. I'm sure I'm forgetting one, but that may be it now.
They may be right. It is.
It's a tough schedule.
yeah.
But, you know, there are other teams out there that are pretty close to as tough. So
Yeah, I mean, so I would say the SEC has 4 of the toughest teams in the country.
for sure. For
sure.
Yeah.
It's a religion here, though. Like legit.
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, I know. I moved here. I moved into this. So in Colorado, one time the Buffs were good. You know, Colorado State was good.
Yeah.
Or at University of Colorado.
When did you leave Colorado?
That's where I went to college. So I just messed that up.
Yeah, but he's got like an advanced degree in microbiology
Sure.
and shit.
When did you?
No, I don't. Thank you, though. I'll let the legend.
Yeah, you and the
I'll
guy
let that
from the, you and the
legend
guy
just
from the
go out
Offspring.
there.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
I am
Yeah, you
a
and
doctor
Dexter
of
Holland.
biophysics.
Hey, man, I read your Wikipedia page, man. I know.
Yeah, it's not true.
When did you leave Colorado?
I've been here 9 years.
Oh, okay. So you missed the Peyton Manning years at the Broncos then. So.
Well, so if I've never stopped being a Broncos fan.
There you
So
go.
I didn't miss them.
You just didn't get to experience it there.
Yeah, but Broncos games have been so. This is how it is in Colorado since 1970. I want to say 78. They've been sold out.
Yeah.
So people might not show up, but they pay for it. They pay for their season tickets and stuff.
Sure.
And
I did have a John Elway poster on my wall like 1987.
Yeah.
it is a smart move, 1987.
Yeah.
Was that the right year? I'm
Probably
guessing.
not.
I don't know.
87 or 97 are both good.
Right.
John Elway year.
It was somewhere in there. I was like
Yeah.
8, so that'd have been that.
Yeah, because Denver had some not great years, and then they had some good years with Elway, and then some not great years, and then
So
a decent year with Tim Tebow, and then good years with Peyton. Good years.
Broncos had like 15 years where Elway was the only good member of the team.
Yep.
They had. I mean, I don't want to dog some of those guys because they're like in the Hall of Fame. There's some decent defense guys. There was some good receivers, but like compared to the rest of the NFL, the Broncos never got people. Like people just didn't want to go to the Broncos. And Elway, he was that good of an athlete that he just was like, okay, I'll get you to the Super Bowl. And then
Well, he gave up a baseball contract to go play NFL.
Because we
with
lived
the
in Larkspur.
Yankees.
Yes, with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yes.
We lived in Larkspur, Colorado, between Colorado
No.
Springs. Yeah, I did, but when I was little, so it was the obligatory. At that age, like everybody was Broncos. Like I like the Broncos because I was, like a kid. Yeah,
It's a good team to like. They're neutral. Like nobody's gonna beat you up for liking the Broncos.
Right.
If you like the Raiders, you're automatically a gang member.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a guy I was in the military with that's a huge Raiders fan. I give him shit about. Like I don't even watch football, but he gets so pissed off when I bring it up, and it's just fun for me.
Do you like the Cowboys? You're just an opportunist, or now it's the Patriots. And
Yeah.
who knows what the next team?
I've been to a few Cowboys games though, back when it was like Emmitt Smith and during the dynasty.
See, I was
so
a
to speak,
Cowboys fan back then. I really liked Aikman and Smith and Michael Irvin and all those guys. But
till he hurt his neck and quit.
Yeah, that was. That was in the 90s, but still. But then when Peyton went to the NFL, I followed because he Tennessee boy or UT boy anyway. I followed him.
So
rooted for the Colts and then rooted for the Broncos.
I don't watch.
Good
I don't watch the sports ball.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the thing. Like, because in Knoxville, the last name Manning, you get a lot of questions in Knoxville. I get questioned all the time. Are you kin to Peyton? Are you kin to Peyton?
Are you kin? That's a very southern.
It is a very southern.
Are you
kin to Peyton? And so what I do to throw people off, the young
who's your
people off,
people?
is I usually say, I'm related to Archie. And no one young knows who Archie is. They know Peyton, maybe they know Eli, but still.
But are you related to Archie?
No.
Dang it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I wish.
Sounded good though.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But man, I know it's late there. If we don't want to keep you, you got the kiddos.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. I can keep talking. Kids are gone. They should be in bed now.
Are you good? Are you good for a few more minutes, man? We're loving having you on. It's a good time.
It's one of the more interesting interviews we've done.
Right.
I mean, because
you're the only person we've had on that has a Wikipedia page.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know how this happens. I don't know how it happens. I think everybody in the band has one now.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a period where not everybody did, and it was like a point of contention.
Really?
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How does that argument go?
No, you'd just be like, you'd be talking about stuff and then come to a disagreement, and somebody would say, well, I don't have a Wikipedia page, so I can't say anything here. Something like that. You're like, I didn't make the Wikipedia page.
That
This
sounds
is not
like
my doing.
That sounds like conversations about race in my house, because what comes up is, you're white, you're not allowed to say anything about race issues in America. So
he's a mixed family.
We're a mixed family. Yes, yeah.
And that's
It's
do
all
you
a
back
joke.
down?
No, I mean, I just
I don't.
the first time it came up and they said, and I was told, you're white, you're not allowed to talk about race problems in America. And I said, that is quite problematic for you to tell someone that they're not allowed to do anything. but yeah, no, our family, I say family get-togethers, when all three of my kids and me and my wife are around, it's just one race joke after another.
Yeah.
Like, I raised my kids making fun of each other, making fun of everything. If you can't laugh about something, then there's a problem. That's kind of the way my kids have always been. Now,
All right.
as they're getting older and they're a little more progressive, there's certain things that are like, you can't say that anymore.
Right.
So,
By the way, I'm Team Roper with the questionable tweet that came out at that one point in time where people were about the certain word usage in regards to, I mean, because it was more of a commentary on language, not so much the meaning of things that you
so I don't know what you're talking
man.
about.
he knows
I
what
don't
I'm
either.
talking about.
Huh?
Oh, really? The word where you said that a certain word should be brought back specifically for the use
Yes.
towards our president. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. I had to remove that tweet just because I was like, no, not a single person is like, you know what? So some people did like it, and I think they were just like, yeah, we should use that word again.
Right. No, but I got where you're coming from on the tweet, and I was Team Roper on that one. I was like, I get what you're saying, and it's a poignant thing.
The word is RETARD.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. My kids told me. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so I'm still a medical professional, and it is still a medical term.
Yes, it is.
My
wife works with special needs kids. It's still a term.
Right. So I get it. It is hurtful. It became a derogatory term.
Right.
And it shouldn't be used in a derogatory manner, and probably won't be used in a medical function anymore because of that.
Right.
But I made this joke that we should maybe, since we're retiring it, just only use it for Donald Trump.
Right.
Which is a great joke.
It is.
Or maybe it's not a joke, maybe.
Yeah.
But
if we're not going to use it for a medical purpose or for or like as a derogatory thing, let's just call him that.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to misinterpret that. And I think that if you like are developmentally disabled, you're already, you've already had that cross to bear. You're already upset about it.
Yeah.
So I just took it down. And I'm not saying I was right to post it in the first place. It was just funny. Right. And I thought what was funny was saying, like, this is the only person this should be used for. Not you.
And I agree. That's why I'm saying that I was Team Roper on that one around. But I saw a couple conversations that you had via the comments thread, and I respect the stance you took and the way that you handled that. So yeah, it was good. But
yeah,
we don't have to go into that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
My kids told me I'm not allowed to use that word anymore. The new word for that is misguided, which makes no sense to me
whatsoever.
I wrote a joke about it that I haven't completely worked out the kinks to yet. But yes, misguided makes no sense to me. So
this is the way of language, though. I mean, we will just continuously be making bad words out of things.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like we need to to try as hard as possible to consider that we're not hurting people
Right.
with those bad language.
Sure.
You know, like I know you guys sent me the email beforehand and you're like, hey, we cuss a bunch.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Well, yeah, that came out of not knowing where you were in life right now,
Sure.
and I didn't want to be disrespectful to where you are.
Well,
you
we
know?
also have local business owners on occasionally, and we let them know up front is like if this is not part of your brand or is not going to work well with you, we completely understand.
We have a lot of people turn us down to come on as
We've had
guests.
several people turn us down. Like we have had several people say, "You guys are great. I will continue to listen. You'd be great to drink with. I can't come on your show." So
fair enough.
So anyway, yeah, it's fine. We're all adults, so whatever.
Everything's fine. It's fine.
We didn't mean to interrupt where you were going with that.
I forgot where I was going.
But language is such a weird thing. Like we've talked about, and I saw that it was like a comedians roundtable, and were talking about jokes and language and the things that's okay to joke about now and not. And their whole point was some of the guys like, I don't care. Like this is funny. That's not my intent behind it. Whatever the case may be. And then the other side was, it doesn't matter what your intent is. The fact is, this is the climate that we're in now, and you have to be, considerate of that, depending on what your end goal is. And I get both sides.
Well, once we started saying your intent doesn't matter, that became a big problem.
I agree.
But
that's where we are. The intent of what you're saying doesn't matter. It's what you.
But if we don't rein that in a little bit, eventually that pendulum is going to swing back way the other direction, and it's going to be awful.
Maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
Well, Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you out.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say
he'll talk for fucking ever.
We play a game.
Don't let him talk.
We play a game on here occasionally called "Who's That Racist," where we pull up old quotes from celebrities, politicians, authors, whatever, and we read the quote and then give multiple choice who said this, and then we score the game. Like I'll read them, and then Stephen and a guest will compete with each other or whatever. And it's not so much that we think racist things are funny, but it's more along the lines of this is how far we've come, and this is how insanely racist some people that we put on a pedestal or whatever.
Like almost
really
every
were.
president we've had, prior
awful.
to like
Abe
1990
Lincoln,
something, are the most racist people.
Abe Lincoln, who
planet.
emancipated people, was one of the most prejudiced people there was.
But at the time, he was progressive. But
sure,
right.
Anyway,
we do this for our grandparents. Why can't we do it for other people's grandparents? That's what bothers me.
Yes.
My grandparents said awful racist things, and my father has said awful racist things, but repented of it. Like he's changed,
right?
And that's cool. That's where we are. I think that I hope that my grandkids look back one day and they're like, Grandpa said these things, but we know better. I hope they've grown further. I hope that people are more accepting and more loving of each other when they're there. What I don't like right now is that nobody is giving anyone grace.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It's just this if somebody says something that crosses a line, they're cut off, and there's no. So for comedy, that's the end, because you look at comedy 50 years ago, and it was just all total misogynistic. My wife did this, and
sure.
take my wife.
Please. Yeah,
people had thicker skin, and I'm sure people had their feelings hurt, but the guys telling those jokes had wives, and they were like, hey, honey, here's a Mercedes. That joke paid for it.
Right.
You cool with this? Yeah. And they were like, yeah, I'm totally cool with it. Everybody knows.
Even along those lines. So I had a call earlier tonight, and I'm not going to go into this too much, but so we don't, because of how our families are still very conservative Christian in a lot of ways, just to spare them, whatever, we don't advertise this too much. We have our pages that are separate, but anyway, just for
it's
the
still
sake
the
of
South,
right?
Yes, it's true.
And
I live here.
Yeah, right. So, but somehow this podcast got to my grandmother
Oh, dude.
today. And there's an episode that we had that, and kind of our dynamic, it's a lot of it's very exaggerated because of what we do. And Joey tends to be the straight man, and I tend to be just very over the top
Gay
with a
man.
lot of the stuff.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we had this whole thing. We were talking about our families, and I was talking about how my family's racist, and my grandmother's that very Southern, comes from that very debutante Southern, where she's very nice to your face and just a complete bitch behind your back.
She heard it.
And then like my kids are assholes, and like I hate, like I love my kids, but like my life would be way better if I didn't have them. Like this whole over the top thing. And she calls me today. Oh my God! Like
Today?
Yeah, this was like an hour before this podcast.
Yeah.
And it was bad. Like I felt like I apologized to her for being hurtful, but her generation, she's like 80 something years old. And so she had no concept of us being, because I was like, well, it's a comedy podcast. It's over the top on purpose. And, you know, whatever the case, she goes, well, I don't like stand-up comedians. And I was like, well, okay. But like, so part of me is like, and I apologized to her as I would, and, you know, yes, ma'ams and all that. And she was like, well, the only way I'm going to accept your apology is if you quit doing this podcast. And I was like, well, that's going to be a problem then. But,
dude,
but it was a rough phone call before this. And my dad listens and he loves the podcast. And he's always like, man, y'all should talk about sex more. It's really cool. But, evidently he has, really bad neurological issues. He's very sick. He has myasthenia gravis. And so his memory's gotten to the point where it's really bad. He has like early onset, what's it called? Louis something dementia.
Oh, Lewy body dementia.
Yeah, some of that. And so he forgets shit a lot. So he mentioned it, and she was like, I want to listen to it because it's something that Steven does. Oh man, it's a bad time right now. But I was just like, oh, it's so bad. And she was like, you're not fit to be a father. You don't need to have your kids. You're not worthy of the. Oh, it's been a fun day. But I don't know why I just got into that. There was something that we said about people. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter at this point. My family life is just severed. I've disappointed my grandmother forever.
Sure.
How do you?
Well, there's nothing I can do. I can apologize. She's not going to understand. And this is like one of the few creative events that I have, and I love doing it. And it was just a unfortunate series of events, and all I can do is apologize and accept the fact that I'm written out of the will and probably won't be invited to any more family functions. But I still love her. You know, she's my grandmother. I love, she's from a different generation. She doesn't understand it. And maybe, I don't know. It is what it is at this point. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but I love her. I told her I loved her, and I told her, I apologized for hurting her feelings and all that stuff. But it's just.
Yet here you sit.
Yeah, here I sit. She told me I was going to hell specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically that I was going to hell today. But yeah. That I've sold my soul to the devil, and the only people that will listen to this podcast are devil worshipers.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do is just go full out. Just swear more. Talk about worshiping Satan a little bit more.
Right. And I have had a big fallout. Like, that's legitimate. And I understand where she's coming from in her generation. Like, I get why she sees it that way. And I get that. Like, my path now is much, much different, for sure.
Just really go full bore, and then show some repentance.
Right.
Like, just do it for a couple of years, and then come back and be like,
yeah,
thank you for praying for me, Grandma.
Well, as far as they're concerned, like, I've been off that path for a while. Like, she doesn't like to admit it, but like my mom still to this day is like, you don't have bipolar disorder. You just need to get right with Jesus. There ain't really nothing wrong with you. You're just in a life of sin. And that's just how, that's just, you're being oppressed. And I'm like, Mom, like, I love you, but my brain is just, it's broken. It's like I'm medicated for a reason. And she just, won't accept that. My dad's come a long way. He'll talk to me about it and have conversations, and he's done some reading and all that. But the rest of my family is like, you don't need to be talking to nobody. You don't need to take no medicine. You just need to get right with the Lord. And
it's amazing how many people in the South are so anti-therapy.
And how many people in the South are super fucked up.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I think that's worldwide. Like, in the U.S., mental health is so looked down upon as far as having any type of mental issue, but it's also gone to the other extreme that we're so overdiagnosed with other things. And it's just this, it makes it difficult for any people with legitimate mental illness to be taken serious. Not always, but, you know, people, cause like I'm pretty severely bipolar, but I'm very fortunate that the medication works really well.
Sure.
And I have a great support system with my wife, and like I've had open conversation with my kids about what it is and how it works. So I'm very fortunate in that regard, but there's some people that have some severe issues that have no support, and they're not going to get any type of good support from like our healthcare system and all this other shit. It's a shit show. But, and then I tried to do the whole, like my wife and I did this band thing for a while called the Broken Fits, and we attempted to be some type of mental health advocacy and all that. But then that came with the whole thing where you can't say anything, you can't joke about it, you can't have anything because you're expected to be this advocate and held to this standard. And it was such a frustrating place to be in. So I was like, fuck it, I hate everything. You know, I'm just going to be terrible, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
That was my diatribe. I apologize for that rant, but yeah.
That is hard. I don't know. I mean, this sounds awful, but there's sometimes I miss my grandmother almost every day. I think about her, and she's been dead longer than 500, almost 30 years. But there's times when I'm just like, you know what, if she was alive, I never would have been able to do this.
Right.
Wouldn't have tattoos, wouldn't have sung in a band. I'd be an ophthalmologist. I don't know if she could have handled this. And me as a Christian, I believe she is in heaven. I believe she intercedes for me. I believe that she's still there and she loves me, but she understands now. Yeah. I don't understand. Like, I'm sure she's just like, stop masturbating so much.
Right.
But you know, I just think it works out that way.
It does.
So hopefully your grandmother, maybe this will be a thing, and she will say, I gotta open up a little bit because I love Steven.
I'm hoping to have that this will lead into some kind of like open discussion about certain things, and it may not, and if it doesn't, that's okay. You know what I mean? I live my life, and I'm an adult, and I love them very much, but I can't live it specifically to please whatever, because I would still be in the ministry, and I would be doing a lot of things that I wasn't really meant to do, if that makes sense. The funny thing is, like, I was the music director of the church I was a part of, and I loved doing that. Like, I really loved it. I did not like the pastor speaking on Sunday. Like, I hated that part of it, but it was part of the whole process. But I don't miss that life at all, because it was so restricting. And I don't mean to be able to do what you want to do as much as, like, it was, I don't know. It's just a very odd dynamic to have a place to be in. But it's easy as a young kid when you're very zealous over what you believe, and you're naive to how the world works, and you just want to make a difference and help people. You know, it's an odd place. But I'm grateful for where I am and what I've been through. I shouldn't say what I've been through. Like, I've been through a lot. I have not had a crazy, like, I've had some a lot of relationship issues due to a lot of things I didn't know about, but it's not like I've been impoverished and on the streets, and people's suffering is far worse than mine.
You don't have to quantify your suffering or your story.
I get that, but I mean, but relatively speaking and being realistic, it's true. Like, everybody has their own struggles, and things are important to you or me, and you go through the things, but there are some people that suffer way fucking worse than the rest of us.
So I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to say that's coveting. You are wanting your story to be a little bit more depressing or more, I guess, just deeper, so that you feel like you have a place to speak, and that's not it. You have
I would disagree with that.
Right. I think you have to take your own story.
No, but
be
I'm
appreciative of that.
No, and I 100% agree with you. I really do. Like, it's given me
Right.
a certain platform. I'm very logical, and from an outsider perspective, I realized that it's I realized that the things I've been through, they've made me who I am, and they've been difficult. But comparatively speaking, like, I'm grateful for the life that I've had, because it hasn't been nearly the fight that I recognize some people have gone through in their lives to be at an equal or even better place. Like, I respect people that have been through way worse shit than me and come
Yeah.
out the other side, because I might not have been able to handle that the same way. Like, I'm lucky to have gotten to where I am.
You are.
But
This
does
is
that make sense? And maybe I'm reinforcing your point. I don't know, but that's how
no.
I view it. You know,
My problem is I'm a Presbyterian, so I think that
that explains so much.
it is. I think that everybody's story has complete, like, perfect purpose.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a white guilt type of thing, though. Like, my suffering is not as bad as some other people, so therefore maybe it doesn't have as much value. Just, being honest and being realistic about it. Like, I get that it's made me who I am, but it's not as bad as, like, there's fucking, like, I guess it's almost like I feel guilty about bitching about or talking about some of my stuff, because I know some people have suffered way, way worse than me.
You're right, but it doesn't make you any less of a person.
No, I agree. No argument there. Reese, you look tired, buddy. You ready to hop off of here?
I want to tell you, I want to pimp one thing, because
go for it.
while we were talking about this, I am reading a book called Paul, a Biography. It's by a guy named N.T. Wright.
Okay.
And when I say reading, that's lying, because I listen to it on Audible when I'm driving.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's cool listening. So it's a biography about the Apostle Paul, and he just talks about how it's cool hearing about the early church, but just kind of about Paul finding his voice, and how I think Paul, if he just went into some fugue state and wrote the epistles, like that's incredible. But I don't think that, because Paul also spoke to people, so he was just like this genius philosopher of, like, who should be in the pantheon of Greek philosophy.
Right.
But this guy just trying to find the difference between Judaism and Christianity, and I feel like you talking about your grandmother made me think about this, just because I think the old school church is a lot like Judaism. It's a lot of just how to be good to gain God's acceptance. And I think that Jesus is not that. He was good on our behalf. And I don't know. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to sing songs. You don't have to pray. But think about this. So that's my pimping of that.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, dig it, man. Yeah. So I think I know you look exhausted, my friend. Like, just absolutely. Don't lie.
It's probably because I've been drinking.
Yeah, say maybe it's gin filled. But yeah, dude. I was gonna ask you, do you care if we throw you guys' new track on the end of this to bump up the 5-iron?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We have that track, and then also, if
the one on Ska for Racism.
Yeah, if you guys want to check that out.
Or Ska not for racism.
Ska not for racism. Ska against racism.
Yeah.
So that it's freaking. You can pay $1.
Yeah.
And get it, and it's like 23 songs.
Yeah, and it's outstanding. I picked it up the other day, actually.
Pay more than $1, because it goes to, like, the NAACP and Black Lives Matter. A lot of cool people, but people should support that
for sure.
Yep.
but it's really good. Not our song, but
No,
the
dude,
rest.
your song is it's the most angry 5-iron song I've heard, and it's fucking fantastic. I really love
Yeah.
it. In a good way. In a good way.
It's a good thing there's no more Christian bookstores.
Well, I mean, the new single, like it caught me off guard, and I think there's been a little bit of
Assgate.
yeah,
2020.
Assgate. There's been a
A
little
bit of Assgate has happened.
and like made me happy. But
Dude, that was Jude's favorite part. He
Yeah.
was like, "They said a bad word, Dad.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing ever." I was like,
it made me happy, but still,
People are very upset that they have to talk to their children about swearing.
it's like when Carmen said ass in one of his things back in the
He
day.
did.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think one of his drama things for the champion, maybe.
Yeah.
The bad guy in it said ass or something
like
that.
I heavily edit around my kids. I don't cuss around them or whatever, but I don't try to shield them for the fact that it exists in the world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Same with me. I just am like, hey, grown-ups can say these things. If you said this in front of your grandma, she'd probably die.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
don't say it.
Or disown you, as I experienced today.
Yeah.
But hey, if this makes us the bad guy in a Carmen song, then I'm on board with that.
Hey man, dude is still living after getting some wicked cancer, so I don't even understand how that works. He did throw a concert of not being defined by a spirit of fear against COVID, and by banding together for a concert, it could anyway. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, Reese, man, thank you so much. You've done us a great service for being on here.
Thanks, you guys.
And you're honestly not that you would for any reason, but you're welcome anytime.
Sure.
This is really nice. Very
well. If
good
you
talking to you guys.
when you guys plan Nashville next, I will say, damn my age, and I'll make the trip to Nashville because that's the last time I was like, God, I want to go so bad, but. Driving to Nashville and driving back in the same day just doesn't sound fun. But no, I'll go next time. Yeah.
Hopefully we can make it to Knoxville.
Hey, I got a couch you can sleep on if you need to.
All right.
No, but sincerely, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I know, like, between the full-time job, the Kickstarter, and the 5-iron stuff, you're a super busy dude, and we're grateful for your time. And you're just fucking fantastic to talk to.
Really. Yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
All right.
Until next time.
Yeah. Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Yep.
All right, dude.
So, back from our elusive second break that we rarely take.
Yeah, that was Reese Roper.
Yes, that was good. That was, man.
What a great dude though. Like,
Yeah, for
he's
sure.
like legit. Like, whether he'd admit it or not, like, he's somewhat of a celebrity.
Sure.
And they have the Kickstarter, which is crazy hectic, and then he's got a full-time job with kids. And then he took the time to fucking, like, 2.5 hours to talk to us.
Yeah.
What a great dude.
Yeah, it was. I felt like it was great. I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe he talked about some things that he didn't expect to talk about. And he probably expected lots of 5-iron questions,
Which we did ask.
a little bit, yeah. But I enjoyed it. It's one of the most enjoyable episodes we've done.
Yeah, like, what a good dude, man. Like, I legit, like, I liked when I said, "You're welcome anytime." He was like, "Yeah, you guys," whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. Hopefully, anyone listening, you guys enjoyed it as well. We're gonna play their new single
Instead of our
good.
normal outro. We're gonna play the new 5-iron single.
Yep.
Their Kickstarter's going for another 24 days, I think. So if you like this interview and you like the song, you should definitely consider contributing it. They got some cool stretch goals going on. Like, they've already they hit their goal in like 31 minutes. It was like 60K.
Yeah, it was insane.
But
I was gonna subscribe to like someone's OnlyFans, but I think I'll just put that money to 5. No,
but they legitimately, like, I've loved the band since the 90s, whatever. But like, this just solidified my love for them. Like, what a great fucking
What's your
dude.
favorite 5-iron song?
Oh man, like, their new one is up there. It's so
really good. Yeah.
It's really hard.
Like, take that out of the equation. What's your favorite 5-iron song?
I can tell you my favorite 5-iron album, but I don't think I have a favorite song. Like, I love them as a band, and I think it's a tie. I love their second record, which I think it was Handbook for the Mediocre. And but 5 Iron Frenzy 2 Electric Boogaloo is one of my favorite fucking records.
My
of theirs.
favorite song is "You Can't Handle This."
Oh, yeah, well, that's all.
Sure,
Electric
no,
Boogaloo.
yeah,
yeah,
but that's my favorite song of theirs.
yeah.
It's the line, Leonard Nimoy can't stand up to this. Captain James T. Kirk bows beneath my fists. It's just great.
Yeah,
I love that
It was such a
song.
good. And just to pimp this out, if you haven't listened to the Mike Carrera podcast
Yes.
that he was on, it's a great fucking interview. Like you should legit check it out. Plus, we love Mike Carrera, so
Sure.
And I know,
Several years ago, he did an episode with most of 5 Iron Frenzy as well.
which I feel like that we made Reese a little maybe uncomfortable, or when we went on our little MXPX spree, but or maybe slightly offended. I don't know, but. Either way, man, such a cool dude. Like I'm grateful he was on.
Yeah.
So,
Really. So, yeah. Till next week.
Until next week, and enjoy. And this is
So We Sing.
So we sing.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yep.
We'll talk to y'all. Well, we said talk to you. We won't talk to you. We're back next week with Saints and Sailors.
Yeah, we're going to sit in actually at the barber shop and talk to however many of their barbers that want to sit in with us. So
Dawn.
Don.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Until next week.
Yep.